This message is brought to you by Venmo. It's not easy being a football fan, especially in the postseason. Watching your favorite team botch a 4th and long, failing to get out of bounds on a 2-minute drive, or fumbling the transfer on a simple handoff, that's hard. But transferring money with Venmo on DraftKings, that's easy. Football is hard, paying with Venmo is easy at your favorite brands all playoff long. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. New York, call 8778-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY. Connecticut, call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. 18 plus in most states. Restrictions apply. Terms, DraftKings.com.
This is the Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugotz podcast.
Is the king of Radio Row there? Is he there?
Yes, Danny. How are you, pal?
Oh, he's already there and he's ready to go and he answers to the king of Radio Row. He knew
No, I don't
talking.
mean it that way, but I knew you were chatting, so I figured I'd fill you in. How you doing?
Oh,
what's going on?
We've already started and I've identified Chris Mad Dog Russo as the king of Radio Row because who's more of the king of Radio Row than you? I think of you and Jim Rome with his bodyguards, but you don't do bodyguards because you're a man of the people.
Funny there, Danny. Well done. Yeah, 1990, so a long time doing this, and there was no Radio Row in 1990, Niners and Broncos in New Orleans. 3 or 4 of us there, the local radio guy, Howard Eskin, Eddie Andelman, guys that you are familiar with, and in a hotel lobby at the Hyatt, 5510 San Francisco.
You invented Radio Row then? You're saying you were at the original Radio Row and it wasn't a row?
No, it wasn't original.
No, but there were 3 people there is what you're saying.
Well, Pete Franklin for WFAN went the year before. That was the San Francisco, that was the Miami Super Bowl. No, that was San Francisco Cincinnati in Miami. And he went to that and when I was at WFAN. And I'm sure Pete went to some Radio Rows prior to that in the early 80s. So I am not the originator of Radio Row. I think that WFAN, the fact that we did 24/7, and then the Giants got to the Super Bowl in 1991, our 3rd or 4th year there, I think that had something to do with it. That was the one in Tampa when they beat the Bills. The first one that I recall where they actually put us in some sort of convention setting in a hotel ballroom was the Dallas-Buffalo game in 93. 53-17, and of course BB's 52-17, whatever the final was, BB against Leon Lett at the Rose Bowl. That is the first one that I recall that there was, say 7 or 8 stations in the same area at Universal City in LA. That was that Super Bowl. They were the Cowboys, which was their first that they won. They beat Buffalo, obviously, twice. They beat Pittsburgh, and that was the first one that they beat the Bills in.
Greg Cody,
that one I remember.
Were you pointing at Chris Russo because you're laughing that he gets the scores right or likes giving the scores from 30 years ago? Because he's showing off when he does that.
No, and rightly so.
I am showing. Good job, Danny. I am showing off a little bit. But that was I think it was 31-17 Cowboys start of the 4th quarter against Buffalo. That's when Jim Kelly got hurt, and Reich played the second half. And then Dallas, that was not Buffalo's first Super Bowl. That was their 3rd, but it was Dallas's first. So the Bills had already lost to the Giants in Washington, and then Dallas killed them that year. Those are the early days for me doing this. Now, there were a lot of guys, including our old pal Joe Brown, who worked for the NFL, who went to every Super Bowl from Super Bowl II. And remember, I think she's passed away, Clark Kent's mom went to every Super Bowl. Her Chiefs were in Super Bowl I against Green Bay, and that was in '66. So there are some who have been to every single one. The first one that I went to was Super Bowl 24 with San Francisco and the Bengals. So I'm 24 behind certain people. How's that?
Now, Dog, Radio Row has certainly changed a lot over the years. Lots of podcasts now on Radio Row. Do podcasts belong on Radio Row?
Who am I to say?
You're the king. You're the king. You're the king of Radio Row.
Yes.
Danny, you and I both know there is a difference between podcasts and doing a daily show Monday through Friday, the grind of it. There is a little difference. Everybody is piling on. They want to do podcasts. It's the Super Bowl. Little Chris Russo is not going to say they can't. But you're right. That adds to the aura and the plethora of media here at these games. Remember, this is a weird one because the game is 44 miles away. I mean, they should be called the San Jose 49ers, not the San Francisco 49ers. The game is 45. I mean, that stadium is 45 miles from here. I mean, it's the furthest away from a city's name, I think, of any team in the league, for crying out loud. I mean, MetLife is 10 miles from downtown Manhattan, 44 from this. Now, there was only been a couple Super Bowls here, right? Dolphins played in Palo Alto against the Niners when Marino got killed. That was in Palo Alto, if I'm not mistaken. And then you had the Carolina one against Denver in Super Bowl 50. Is this only the third one? It might be in the history of the NFL. I'm not positive. I'd have to count that. I think it's the third one.
Juju, put it on the poll, please. Should they be the San Jose 49ers instead of the San Francisco 49ers?
That is a good one.
Because they're 44 minutes away.
I don't think you were kidding. This is the king of Radio Row. We went on a fascinating deep dive. The reason why Radio Row exists the way it does today is because of Mad Dog Russo. Jeremy, fill him in.
In 92 in Minneapolis, Mad Dog was going to do a broadcast live from inside the Hyatt Hotel in which they said Mad Dog was staying. And the Hyatt said, well, you got to pay $40,000. So they said, we'll go do it at the Holiday Inn across the street for free. So they did that. And because of the success that happened in Minneapolis, the following year in 93, WFAN said, we're sending everybody, we're broadcasting live.
Did you not know that you'd invented it? Were you not aware that you
was? Well, first off, good job by Jeremy. That was the Mike and the Mad Dog. I do remember we did not stay. We stayed in a Hyatt in Minneapolis. That was that cold weather, one of the first cold weather Super Bowls, and Minneapolis did a great job with it. And that's when Buffalo got killed by Washington and Thurman Thomas misplaced his helmet. You guys remember that. Of course. And missed the first play. And I do remember we did the show in a different location than the Hyatt lobby. I did not know about, I have heard that story recently, but at the time, Danny, I was not aware of the $40,000 fee. So if that is the case, that would answer why, in fact, there was a change in philosophy with the NFL of making it Radio Row. Now, the year before that, remember, that was Giants in Buffalo, and Mike and I went to the championship game that year in San Francisco. That was the 3-peat game in which the Giants, Roger Craig fumbled, and the Giants ended up kicking that field goal by
5 field goals.
Won the game. Yeah, that was a 50. I think it was
15-14.
15-4. They were down 14-12. Craig fumbled. Giants go down the field with Hostetler and kick the field goal. And there was no week off that year because of the war. So we went right from San Francisco to Tampa, and we did the show at the Tampa Hyatt. So there was not a media row then, but there was a lot of Giant fans who came down for the game. And they watched the show at the second floor of the Tampa Hyatt, and the Tampa Hyatt hired a band for the week. And the band said, we can't do this because all the Giant fans came down and wanted to hear Mike and Chris do a show on the Giants. So the band left, and we controlled the second floor of the Tampa Hyatt there with the great Buffalo Giants Super Bowl 20-19 with the field goal missed by Norwood, as you know, the 48-yarder. And I remember we had George Young on at 5 o'clock on Friday afternoon. There must have been 300 Giant fans
GM of the
watching.
Giants, the GM of the
Right,
Giants.
there you go. Who used to work with who was the player personnel director for Shula with Miami.
Damn right.
Who in fact, there must have been 300 Giant fans watching George Young. I remember that. That was in 1990.
What war?
What war? That was the Persian Gulf War.
What year was that?
In 1990. 1990.
Wasn't even born.
And so there was no week off. They changed that. No week off. And getting in to the Sombrero in Tampa. That was the old stadium. That's where the game was. Getting in, you had to get there basically 4 hours before game time because of precaution. And there was Whitney Houston did the national anthem, and there were basically snipers on top of the stadium because of the tensions with the war. That's a famous one. That's a famous one.
I don't think we've spoken about anything in this interview that's happened in the last 20 years.
Yeah, I know. Well, you get me on. You get me on, you guys. You're going to be talking about I'm 100 years old. You're going to be talking about the old days, for crying out loud.
He headlines Mad Dog Sports Radio on Sirius XM, including Mad Dog Unleashed, weekdays at 3 p.m. Eastern. You can also see him every week on First Take. He's got, obviously, a gift for the genius of what sports radio is. And, Chris, I asked this question sincerely out of curiosity. Do you believe that everything you say is interesting? because I think you kind of have to in order to be as good at delivering interesting things as you are. So I don't mean it as an insult. As you're talking, you used to talk for 6.5 hours a day, right? Like your show at one point was 6.5 hours, and I think that probably mutates you into somebody who's got to believe everything he's saying is interesting.
Well, you have to be a good salesman because you have to convince the audience that what you're saying is interesting. So that's the first thing a good talk show host has to do, especially if it's on for a long period of time. As you said, Danny, Mike and I won 1 to 6:30, and then when I got to Sirius, it was 2 to 7, and no commercials at Sirius. So if you're going to do a show under those scenarios, you got to make sure that what you say you're into, because if you're into and you're enthusiastic, you can convince the audience, well, he cares about it, so it must be something I should care about, and that's where being a good salesman is important. And my father was a salesman, so that's where that gene came from. You know, I think you got to have that. I think you got to have a little curiosity. I think you got to be able to, you know, be interested in a lot of different things. History helps. You've been doing this a long time, Dan. You have that same gene. If you're curious, that will help you, Danny, be a good talk show host. So I like to think myself as curious, and I like the history of it. So if you like the history of it, you're curious, and you got a crazy personality, you can be a talk show host if that is, in fact, what you want to be. You know, when I started in the early 80s in Jacksonville and Orlando, the second job I had was at WKIS in Orlando, good news talk station, 74 AM. I did 6 to 8, and the old general manager who hired me, a fellow by the name of Mike Geyer, who put Bob Trumpy on the air at CKY in Cincinnati. Trumpy just passed away about, 6 months ago. So he knew sport. He brought me into the office one day. This would have been probably 85. And he said, Chris, you have the perfect blend for a talk show host. You know, you got all those little ingredients to make you a good host. And Geyer told me that in 85, so I've thought about that my whole life. And he put Trumpy on the air, and Trumpy was a good talk show host, too, at CKY. So in Orlando, 6 to 8, Monday through Friday, in the mid-'80s, I'm sitting here doing sports talk at 24, 25 years of age. So there you have it. Longevity is important. 40 years of doing this. 40 years.
Mad Dog, what's your favorite Bad Bunny song?
My favorite Bad Money? What do you mean Bad Money?
Bad Bunny. Bad Bunny.
Oh, Bad Bunny. I couldn't tell you. The band.
Okay, that's okay.
You got the wrong. I can tell you my favorite CC Hart song.
No.
I can tell you my favorite.
Sure, let's go there.
Song.
What is it?
I can give you my favorite Doors song, but I can't give you that's a little rough. That one I can't. I'm not good at that stuff.
That's okay.
And they're doing the halftime, so now I understand.
That's all right. Let's play the sound for Mad Dog to see how it is. I don't think he's self-conscious about these things. We've done a form of this before. What happened to you here, Mad Dog?
Out of the quarterback in this ball game here, stick him. Oh yeah. That was funny. Where did I come up with that? Where did I say that? I mean, I said that 2 weeks ago. What station did I say? Oh, I said it.
WKCY.
I guess I said it on FA. What station?
WKCY.
He's being a smartass. Don't listen.
My bad, dog.
The KCY. Here's what I did. I said it on our show, and Jimmy Traynor picked it up, and then everybody heard it. That's what I did. And stick him instead of Stidham. That was pretty stupid. But, you know, the half-court shot I attempted there a few weeks ago, back a couple of months ago.
Low rough.
You know, that's the thing. You can't take yourself too seriously. Be yourself. Try to be authentic. And if people think you're a nut sometimes, what's the big deal? You must be doing something right. You've been doing this a long time.
Yeah, you're doing it right.
So you must be doing something right.
Lightning round.
That was a bad one, though. That was a bad one.
Lightning
Stick
round.
him instead of Stidham.
The lightning round, because you got to get out of here. Headlines, Mad Dog Sports Radio on Sirius XM. I'm just going to do this, so rapid fire. Best city to host the Super Bowl.
I know this sounds crazy. I love Minneapolis. They took advantage and they capitalized on all the snow. That was the one with Buffalo and Washington.
It is crazy. What you're saying is crazy.
And they had stuff, what you could do, and they took advantage of their surrounding scenarios.
Lightning round. Most entertaining Super Bowl game
that I have seen. Before I worked, Dallas-Pittsburgh, 35-31 back in the late 70s when Thomas Henderson said Bradshaw can't spell cat if you spotted him the C and the T, which is fine. Go ahead.
Best food to eat watching the Super Bowl.
Nachos.
Best halftime performer.
Springsteen, Tampa.
Seahawks or Patriots?
Seahawks. I'd be shocked if they lose.
Enjoy Bad Money and the halftime show. Good.
They're great, Dog, by the way. They are amazing.
You were great. Appreciate it, Mad Dog. Thank you. Always,
all right, Danny.
Always appreciate it.
Thank you.
Legend.
You got it, pal.
A legend. I got 8 Dannies. 8 Dannies. That's a record for me. I'm so happy to get 8 Dannies from him. It's the highest honor. The highest honor. Him and Wilbon, the only ones allowed to call me Danny.
What are you reaching for? If you're a smoker or dipper, you could be reaching for so much more with Zyn nicotine pouches. When you reach for Zyn, you're reaching for 10 satisfying varieties and 2 strengths for a smoke-free and spit-free experience that lets you lean in, for chances to break free from your routine, and a unique nationwide community. Whatever you're reaching for, reach for it with America's #1 nicotine pouch brand. Find your Zyn wherever nicotine products are sold near you. Warning, this product contains nicotine. Nicotine is an addictive chemical.
Howdy, folks. Mike Ryan here. Quick break to talk to you about one of our show's longest, most tenured, and greatest partners, Miller Lite. I love this product because so many moments were made legendary by having Miller Lite there. And it's not just the good times. Sometimes you and your pals are sad because a game didn't go your way, and you take a sip of Miller Lite, and you still recognize, darn, this tastes good. And I made the right call. And that sound of cracking open that beautiful white can, it does make me feel better. Thank you, Miller Lite. So many legendary moments start with a Miller Lite. Miller Lite just fits pretty much any occasion. Clean finish, refreshing, brewed for taste with simple ingredients like malted barley, and at 96 calories and 3.2 carbs per 12 ounces, it never weighs you down. It's the taste that beer lovers have trusted for over 50 years. The original light beer since 1975 and still iconic today. Legendary moments start with Miller Lite. Great taste, 96 calories. Go to MillerLite.com/Dan to find delivery options near you, or you can pick up some Miller Lite pretty much anywhere they sell beer. It's Miller time. Celebrate responsibly. Miller Brewing Company, Milwaukee, Wisconsin, 96 calories and 3.2 carbs per 12 ounces.
Listen up, folks. It's game day, and you already know what that means. The noise, the jerseys, the group chats going crazy. I'm telling you, no game day is complete without the world's #1 vodka. You know that is Smirnoff. We're talking easy cocktails, tons of flavors, perfect for every kind of fan over 21. Whether you're riding with your squad, watching from home, or celebrating like your team already won the first quarter, Smirnoff is the official vodka partner of the NFL. It's award-winning, and it's been bringing people together since 1864. Which is basically forever. Smirnoff does game days. Big energy, big moments, big wins. Hopefully. Grab a bottle of Smirnoff at your local retailer and head to Smirnoff.com to find a cocktail recipe perfect for game day. Please drink responsibly. Smirnoff #21 vodka, distilled from grain. 40% alcohol by volume. The Smirnoff Company, New York, New York. Please don't share with anyone under legal drinking age. Now let's get back to arguing about refs.
Don Le Batard.
I actually thought you looked kind of good.
Stugotz.
Thank you. The beard's grown out a little bit. I got a little life in my face, I feel like. Little tan, Colorado, San Francisco. I had a great time, man.
You got life on your face.
You've got death on your face.
I think you got 40 to life on your face.
This is the Don Le Batard Show with the Stugotz.
Guy. No one's gonna realize we're wearing different clothes. We're not gonna get those flimsy accusations that we're lazy just because someone noticed on Reddit that it was taped. Don't let it get to us this time. We did the work. It's the first time they experienced it. How is it lazy? It's just show. If anything, we should get credit for not being lazy because we worked extra yesterday for the listener. Don't let it get to you. Do not crack.
Speaking of which, we're working extra after the show today and tomorrow because our postgame today is just going to be everybody talking about the NBA and the trade deadline. You guys are going to stay live on the show here for a while. Tony and Zaz and Jeremy and a cast of characters are going to be doing more NBA talk as part of the postgame today. It'll be live on YouTube. And also tomorrow we're going to do a live stream up to the trade deadline. We're going to enjoy ourselves and fool around. Also, very happy to see on my screen someone right now who is at the height of her powers. It's not just casuals with Katie Nolan Tuesdays and Thursdays. It's not just her daily Sirius XM show fan service. Her Patriots are back. She's sitting down with Matt Damon and Ben Affleck. She is maximum New England right now. Mike, what
It's a tough 5 years that poor fan base had to endure.
Yeah, right? There's a whole generation of 5-year-olds who have never seen the Patriots in the Super Bowl. Katie, it is nice to see you. Again, weekdays, 12 Eastern on Mad Dog Sports Radio. I want to bring you in here first, and I know that Cody's got some opinions here. He thinks the winner this year of the Westminster Dog Show, he thinks that the dog is simply ugly. So what kind of preamble do you want to give this for context?
Okay, a minor correction. Not ugly, but scary. This looks like if the devil had a pet dog, it would be the Westminster Kennel Show champion. It's a Doberman Pinscher, and it is one of the scariest dogs ever. And when I think of the Westminster Kennel Club, I want my winner to be a Cocker Spaniel, or just something a little, even a poodle, just something cute like you could imagine having in your own home, as opposed to that animal.
A poodle is cute? That's not cute.
Yeah, come on. If you saw that dog walking down a sidewalk toward you, you'd run like hell, am I right?
That dog is perfect.
There's a good dog.
I mean, literally, that's the point. That's what they give the award out for. That's you never played the game, so you couldn't possibly know what they're looking.
Dog.
I think it's beautiful. It's a beautiful dog. I also think he beat an Afghan hound. That was the runner-up. It was like one of those long-haired. How do you feel about an Afghan hound?
I love an Afghan hound compared to that animal with the pointed ears.
You sound very scared.
It's a devil's dog.
I'm sorry. All right. Well, he won. So deal with it,
I am dealing with it.
Good.
Put it on the poll. Did the Devil's Dog just win the Westminster Dog Show? And also, Best in Show. This reminds me. We have not talked about the passing of Catherine O'Hara. I am certain that Katie's got some opinions on this because that was a heartbreak. One of the great funny people of all time. What do you think of her as first? First, if you have to, because Best in Show is about the first time that I knew of her work most resonantly.
Really? Beetlejuice did nothing for you?
I think of that as a Michael Keaton vehicle.
Home Alone?
I didn't love Home Alone. That wasn't.
Yeah, Home Alone is the first. You didn't love Home Alone?
He thought of it more as a Macaulay Culkin vehicle.
Oh, okay. Yes, of course. Home Alone's the first thing I think of when I think of Catherine O'Hara. But like Moira Rose, on Schitt's Creek, she was just like consistent. She is consistently funny while also doing it differently. It's not the same every time, but it's always reliably hilarious. I think she was one of the funniest women on earth, and I was deeply saddened to hear of her passing. It was such a shock, and it really rocked me. I haven't been knocked over by a celebrity death like that in a while.
Was the studio the last thing she did?
Yeah, I think so. And I think they just started filming the next season of that, so that must be a real bummer.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's real sad.
She was having a great third act, too, in her career. It's like everybody realized we didn't give this person proper appreciation, and she started hogging all the roles.
I actually have a
she
quick...
deserved them. Give her more.
Quick top 5 for her best things said on Schitt's Creek, and it was tough to narrow it down. I do have an OLI, which is the scene where they fold in the cheese.
Next step is to fold in the cheese.
What does that mean? What does fold in the cheese mean?
He folds it in.
I understand that, but how do you fold it? Do you fold it in half like a piece of paper and drop it in the pot, or what do you do?
David, I cannot show you everything.
Okay, well...
Number 5, the way she said baby.
Do you realize the baby is crying?
I do, yes.
Isn't it scheduled to be dormant by now?
Isn't it scheduled to be dormant by now? 4, the way that she reacts to finding out her grown adult daughter has lice.
Well, Alexis has lice.
What? Ew! Ew! I assume you shaved her head. And we have to put a wig on her. But not one of my wigs. These have to be boxed now.
Moira, I've got it all taken care of. And I think twice about that garden.
Oh, it's too late. The notion of that garden is as abhorrent to me as our daughter's scalp.
And I was worried about you overreacting.
Number 3, the Herb Ertlinger fruit wine commercial. You could pick it up wherever you want.
Muskmelon goodness to his oak Chardonnay, and the dazzling peach crab apple to his Riesling Rioja. Come taste the difference good fruit can make in your wine.
Number 2, her advice about taking nude photos of yourself when the internet can't find them.
Then allow me to offer you some advice. Take 1,000 naked pictures of yourself now. You may currently think, oh, I'm too spooky. Or nobody wants to see these tiny boobies. But believe me, one day you will look at those photos with much kinder eyes and say, dear God, I was a beautiful thing. Oh, and make sure you submit those photos to the internet. Otherwise, your own children will go looking for them one day, and tragically, they won't be there.
And number 1, the only way to respond to if someone else asks you for plans you don't want to do.
I am booked up, David. You should see my schedule. I'm positively bedeviled with meetings, etc.
The goat.
Damn.
Katie, I will
Damn, she
remind
rules.
everybody that Jeremy began presenting that by saying, I'm going to do this quickly.
Right. I'm
Belichick.
sitting at Radio Row, just listening to, and I love it. I do love Moira Rose clips. But I'm people are walking by looking at me, and I'm just listening and laughing. I feel very uncomfortable. There's a screen with just my face on it as I sit in a chair, and famous people walk by.
Sorry,
and I laugh.
Katie.
They can't tell if I'm on air or not. They don't know what's happening. It's very uncomfortable. But thank you for playing those clips. I love
We
them.
had you on to just sit there.
Dan Lebatard. Stugotz.
Every cup game.
And what?
This is the Dan Lebatard Show with the Stugotz.
Can you tell me how you felt about Belichick not making the Hall of Fame? And did you hear any opinions that sort of landed with you and you're like, okay, that makes sense?
None of it makes sense. In a world where we say the phrase first ballot Hall of Famer and it means something, none of this makes any sense. It's absurd. It's stupid. It's embarrassing. I think it should be a thing that leads to them changing the way they do that vote, that committee that votes on those 5 candidates. I heard somebody say that because he was, I think the rationale we heard was because it was so obvious that he was going to get in, they spent their votes on guys it was less obvious for. That's not how it works. It's the Hall of Fame. It's a binary question, yes or no. And Bill Belichick is always a yes. It doesn't make sense to me.
Katie, if it was up to you and you could only put one of Belichick or Kraft in, who goes in?
Belichick.
Did you have any sort of reaction to Kraft not getting in?
Honestly, I'm not happy to say this. I was kind of relieved because I feel like it would have dominated the conversation if Kraft got in and Belichick didn't, and it would have been all we talk about this week leading up to the Super Bowl. And I did not want to have that conversation. I don't like talking about the internal politics of the team that brought me some of my favorite victories as a sports fan. I'd rather just make fun of how one of them's dating a really young gal now, you know?
Katie, what do you think of the proposition that Belichick is just being penalized and will get in next year? He's being punished for Spygate.
I think he already was punished for Spygate, and it was a record punishment. There was the most a coach had ever been fined. So I feel like at what point does that stop? How many Super Bowls do you have to win before they're like, okay, we don't need to punish you in this way? I mean, we talk about Bill Belichick and say, like, future first ballot Hall of Famer. It was just a thing you say and you don't even think twice about. And now it's not true. We were all wrong and lying.
How do you feel about Greg Cody's pinky ring? Do you have an opinion of any kind?
I can't see it. How would I see it? I got no monitor of you guys. I'm just talking to a big picture of myself who did her own hair and makeup, and it's really not. I don't think I did a good job. Can I look online and see your pinky ring? I bet I hate it.
I bet you do.
Okay,
Yeah.
It's okay. I'm sorry. I thought that you had video there. That's my bad. How have you enjoyed Radio Row? What's that experience been like for you?
It's good. The last time I actually did a Radio Row here for Super Bowl 50, I had a TV show then, so I had like a lot more going on. But it's nice. It's like Today it's starting to fill. I think tomorrow will be like the busy day. Yesterday was a little slow, but it's always funny to just walk around and go like, oh, that's Octavia Spencer. Why is she here? There's just random famous people that you bump into, and I like that. It's a fun environment.
Did you have some nerves about Affleck and Damon?
Oh my God, are you kidding me? We found out like 2 days before that we got it. I had no idea we were even trying to get it. Terrified. The hardest part of that interview for me was that, no offense, they brought their director, and I just couldn't have cared much less. And I felt like I didn't want that to come across, but it's like I got 20 minutes, and the two of them, hi, thank you for being here. Mind if I just focus on these two? I don't think I did a good job. That's my thing I sit with now. Is I'm like, hopefully I get another chance someday, because I didn't knock it out of the park. But it was fun, and they were awesome, and everything I dreamed of. And I didn't throw up, so that's good.
You like Affleck and Damon, but you hate Miami. I'm wondering if you watched The Rip.
I did watch The Rip. Is that a real thing? Miami has a law that you have to count the money that you seize from a crime scene on the scene?
I think that might be like a federal law. It seems like a good idea.
I thought they said it was specifically. I thought they specifically said.
They also called it Hialeah.
Did you watch The Rip, Mike?
I did. They called it Hialeah, and then I checked out.
How do you say? How do you say it?
Hialeah.
Oh
God.
Hialeah. I've always said Hialeah.
No.
Hey, do you guys miss Mike McDaniel? Are you sad about that?
I did watch Dan Soder's reaction to it, and who's the gentleman that he does the podcast with?
Mark Norman?
What do you mean?
Mark Norman, the goat.
That was just an episode of his podcast. He doesn't do the
Mark
podcast.
Norman's reactions to Dan's fiery hot takes were my favorite part.
Yeah, Dan was like, he found out what our side of the business is like when like Awful Announcing wrote like, Dan Soder goes off on Miami's front office. And he was like, why is everybody taking what I said so seriously? I was like, welcome to the game, dude. This is how it goes. Sports media doesn't care if you were joking or not. You were mad, and now they've posted it. And he was like getting all the sports media reactions instead of like comedy fans, which he got to live in our world for a little bit.
Whoa. And me and my friend...
What?
Hey, Jesus Christ.
Oh, my Normand.
How did Dan really feel? I mean, he said how he really felt, but he obviously had information about that because he's childhood friends.
He's just upset. He's like, your friend gets fired from a job that you think he was good at. I would hope you go to bat for your friend. They weren't like texting. He doesn't have inside information. He just found out from me. I actually had to be the one to tell him. I found out, my producer texted me and said, McDaniel out in Miami. And Dan was at the gym. And Dan's a weirdo who doesn't bring his phone to the gym. He doesn't listen to music. He just works out silently. And he came back upstairs as I was getting ready to leave. And he walked in the door and I was like, I have bad news. He was like, what? And I said, McDaniel got fired. He went beeline to the bedroom, grabbed any Dolphin stuff. I didn't let him buy a lot of merch, but he had like a sweatshirt and a shirt. Grabbed them both, threw them on the ground, and then stomped on them. He like literally stomped on them in the hallway and was like, I hate this team. It's I don't know, am I allowed to say the F word? He was like, it's F the Dolphins forever. And I was like, it's always been F the Dolphins forever. I don't know why you made me root for this team for a second or go to their games. But I was trying to be supportive. And so he's out now. And we'll see how, I think the Chargers I think that's going to be a good gig for him.
We've done good segments with
What is
Katie
this?
before. This one clearly lands on Jeremy. It was a bad idea. We'll just ream him out in the post show. Let's keep it moving and try to salvage this.
Katie, that's my inner monologue. That is.
That's great. That's beautiful.
That is
really
what I'm
good.
thinking privately. It was so much more poisonous than that, though. Like he was being
really
gentle.
good.
He
Wearing a stupid sweater.
Hey, ball off me, coach.
He cleaned it up, and my inner monologue is so much angrier than that right now. I can't even tell you. How is Tom Brady improving to you? I was very critical of Tom Brady. I thought he was distractingly bad last season and early this season. What are your thoughts on Tom Brady on the broadcast?
I think he's gotten much better. I think in typical Tom Brady fashion, I feel like he must have watched tape and analyzed it and talked to people who, gave him advice or constructive criticism, and I think he worked on it. I think the teeth thing is still an issue, but we don't have to focus on that. I think Tom Brady has gotten a lot better, and I think, in comparison to Tony Romo, I think most people are starting to see that they would prefer Tom Brady calling a game. Is that wrong? Does that feel right?
There is a sentiment shift that I have noticed that has been aided by Romo getting worse. It's interesting that that's the comparison point and not Greg Olsen, who's better than both of them.
Yeah, well, Greg Olsen's very good. He still has a job, right? Just not the top job, which I think he probably should have gotten. But yeah, Greg Olsen's great. Tony Romo this year, I think people loved him a lot at first and then turned on him really quickly, and I was hesitant to join the turning on. But this year, the thing that was grinding my gears about Tony Romo is he would always talk about it like if he were the coach, what he would have done, and then if the play would develop or whatever, and he would go, I was right. And you're like, we don't care. We don't care if you predicted it, if you were right, if that's what you would have done. Talk about what's happening, what the coach is doing, what the team is doing. It was all about, I think we gave him too much credit for the prediction stuff. And he was like, this is going to be my whole bag. And now it's aging in a way that you're like, find a new bag. This stinks.
And the laziest thing that he does is that he consistently says several times a broadcast that somebody is as good as anybody in the league at doing something. He does it so much, and it's just not possible for everybody that he's talking about to be better than everyone else in the league at something.
Yeah, mathematically that would be difficult, so I get that. I hadn't noticed that, but now I will.
He's like Kayshon Boutte, one of the best deep route runners in the league.
Who'd you wave at there?
It's just a guy from Dallas Radio that I did a spot with yesterday.
Love a Radio Row
dude,
wave.
It's just, look, I'm really popular with the local radio guys. I'm really killing it.
Can you tell us some good inside stories about you making your way through all Radio Row things? How does this one compare to any of the others you've heard about or been around?
It's look, it's still early days. I know you're not here for whatever reason. God forbid you show up and come hang out at the Super Bowl.
I hate Radio Row. Always have.
So what? We all do. We're all here. Kay Adams is here. I just walked by. She was doing an interview with Gronk, and I was like, oh, I would love to say hi to either of you, but I'm not. You're on. That's the weird thing about Radio Row is like sometimes you're just sitting here with a headset on. Sometimes you're listening to somebody play a bunch of clips to you, and people think you're just doing getting set up, so they'll come over and you're like, I'm on TV. So that vibe of Radio Row I don't like. The best experience I've had so far last night, I got to go out to dinner with Mad Dog and Stephen A. Smith, and that was a very fun. Yeah, Stephen A. showed up a little late because he obviously had other engagements, but it was just a fun. The Mad Dog throws this dinner for everybody that works on his channel on Sirius, and it was just it was a fun little moment. I liked that quite a bit. Walked up a lot of hills to get there. The hills of San Francisco, they're not lying. It's a lot.
I will tell all of you to listen to her in the two places that I've caught her recently where she is showing off some of her best work. Casuals with Katie Nolan, Tuesdays and Thursdays. And what are you laughing at? Sirius XM.
I'm just some of my best work. I appreciate it.
Fan Service with Katie Nolan, where she's doing a daily show for an hour where she's got a cool relationship with her audience. Thank you, Katie. Good talking to you.
Yeah, thank you, Dan. Thank you, everybody. Good to
Katie.
see
Sorry
you guys.
For wasting your time.
Except you, Jeremy.
You didn't waste my time. I miss you. I wish you were here.
He wasted your time, and I'm seething about it, and there will be notes after the show. And in fact, Mike, can you hold up the... No, you don't need to write it down. We have it because we just have it. Just grab what we have back there that we hold up every show so that the audience can see what is always the notes after every show.
Really quick, as we filibuster to find that note for Jeremy, who was just very poor in that segment, can we find the picture of Dan who looks like Charlie Weiss? I've been really wanting to see that.
All right, so... Yeah.
Oh, boy.
Really unflattering. Yeah.
Wow. That's AI, right?
That
can't be true.
Is that Poppy?
Yeah. I feel terrible about that.
How could we let this happen? We look like Damon Wayans on the top rope of Great White Hype.
After this show today, after the show today.
Tony, block the shot of it.
Move over.
Help my guy out here.
Tony, that was also Jeremy's idea.
I heard that
went great.
I heard about that one.
That one went well. My bad on the Catherine O'Hara stuff. If it was all of us talking and we needed to kind of buy some time, that would have worked great. My mistake. on the whole Katie
Just
part.
I saw going on and on.
I saw number 3.
No, it was long. I had to stop.
It's 56 seconds.
I didn't
just
mean
started
to.
it midway through.
So I know it was a popular show, but this is niche.
Not that popular.
Not niche. Hold on a second. That was the most
you had-
popular show in America
It was
at a
just-
time where everyone was at home watching
The
TV.
best line was OLI.
Never seen it.
Folding the cheese.
You
best
could have
line.
done like
Never seen
all
it.
the
That's on you,
Catherine
bro.
O'Hara lines.
Oh, thank you for.
He started with quickly.
Yeah.
Just real
I didn't
quick.
know how.
You're allergic to quick.
I know that he was a star, but I'm pretty sure Catherine O'Hara had more screen time than Michael Keaton did in Beetlejuice.
Yeah, that's a weird one. By
You know,
Dan.
John Wooden said
He
"Be
was
quick,
Beetlejuice. He was Beetlejuice.
Came in halfway through the movie.
It's a Michael Keaton vehicle. We have, after the show today, we've got what are the people participating in this? I just lost my voice with the way that I
I'm in.
screamed there.
So you guys are going to raise hands. Okay, Zaslow, Tony,
said I'm
and
in.
Jeremy will lead our coverage of the
If
trade
I don't go
deadline.
home, because that was tough.
You might get sent home. Yeah, it might be just me and Zaz on the post show.
We're going to stay live is the point. And we haven't mentioned how well Cooper Flagg is playing. This is not a normal thing for a 19-year-old.
We should mention how good Cooper Flagg is playing because, like, since Jason Kidd went in front of the assembled media and says, "I know I've built players in this league before,
And me and my friend.
I know what I'm doing." Like, Cooper's been amazing. He's been incredible. He's on a tear. We were having the conversation just last week that Cameron Boozer is like quietly being a better freshman for Duke than Cooper Flagg was. I'm thinking, is Cooper Flagg just overrated? Is this a right way to handle this guy? And Jason Kidd showed us.
It was the exact day that I did the White Castle hot take thing where I was like, all right, Con Knuppel has a real shot to be the rookie of the year. That night, Cooper had 49 and has been on a tear ever since.
Wait, so your bet the castle was almost as bad as Zaz's?
Yeah.
The night that you did it, Cooper
He had
goes
49.
off.
Barkley's analysis was, I think he's ready after he had 49.
We'll be right back.